we're going to have from Moses Kipchirchir, who's our Associate Director here at KPMG. Moses, over to you.
Thank you, Payne, and welcome everyone to this Global Cyber Day awareness session today. I'll start with introduction. My name is Moses Kipchirchir. I'm an Associate Director in KPMG, and I'll be kicking off this session today. So welcome to everyone, the parents who are on this call, and the children who are on this call as well. As you're aware, this is a KPMG initiatives that aims to make a difference in the communities around the world. Why are we doing this today? 33% of internet users are under 18 years. So it's imperative that we educate them on staying safe online. As you're aware, October is a Cyber Awareness Month, and therefore we are playing our part as KPMG to create safer digital spaces. Digital is an integral part of our lives. We use our phones to do our everyday activities. We use it for our educational activities, how we access, the content that we use every day. So we must equip ourselves with tools that enable us to navigate the digital risks that we face every day. To just underscore the kind of challenge that we continue to face, according to a research done by DQ Institute, it was noted that 6 out of 10 children who are aged between 8 and 12 are exposed to various forms of cyber risks, and 1 in 2 children have encountered some form of cyberbullying. And close to 1/3 of those children would have had to encounter some form of threats such as phishing and hacking. So in our presentation today, we'll be looking at some of those risks that we continue to face and what actions that you can take to safeguard yourselves and also to educate yourselves on how to not get into those situations. So we've lined up a number of presenters to walk you through some of the tools that you can use on an ongoing basis and some of the risks that you need to look out for. Please do share any questions that you may have in the chat session, and at the end of this presentation, we'll handle those questions. Thank you very much, and I hope that we have a very engaging presentation ahead. Thank you very much, and I welcome our presenters to take over.
Thank you so much, Moses. So please remember to share your questions with us. We have a chat box within our Q&A section. So please feel free to post your questions there as we move along. So protecting your identity online is something that is very important. And these are some of the things you need to know so that you can stay safe while online. Use a strong password. And a strong password here is a mix of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, symbols. These are some of the things that make up a strong password. And you should make sure that there are at least 8 characters. Next is keep it a secret. Don't make a point of sharing the password with your friends. Make it unique. And then, of course, don't use the same password across different platforms and different accounts. Before signing up to any platform, consult a trusted adult, such as your parent, so that they can let you know if that platform poses any risks or any challenges to you as a child. Enable security settings and make sure you lock your computer while you're away or your phone. Keep software and programs updated. And most importantly, log out when leaving a site or account. So saving your password for convenience, as we are used to doing on our web browsers, is something that you should completely avoid. I know it saves time, but please don't save your passwords on internet browsers. So I'm sure we've experienced some emails from sources that we probably don't quite understand. Some of them usually come in the form of you've won something or you're being informed about something really urgent. In other cases, this is an email that pretends to be an authentic email from a source, such as Microsoft, Google, etc. So we need to differentiate between spam and phishing. And spam is actually unsolicited junk email that is sent to mass number service. Now, phishing on the other end, this is a fraudulent attempt to try and obtain your confidential personal information. So this is something a lot of criminals do to try and trick you into giving them some sort of information about you and your accounts. So one of the ways for you to do, to be able to detect whether an email you've received is spam, is they try to create a sense of urgency, like you really need to do it immediately. You need to take care of the information that they're trying to share with you. Next, they usually use fake URLs. So if you're getting an email from Google, then there's no way they're going to use a different address that isn't even related to Google. So you should always check for the person who is sending the email and the website they're trying to redirect you to. Next is securing your device. You should make a point of security software. Never skip an update. Update messages can be annoying, I know, but please update your devices as soon and browsing history. I know a lot of us do that already. Make sure you log out. Your log in and log out is something else that we really have
Okay, now you're back. I think.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We lost you for a minute there.
Okay. So choosing your screen name and username, there's a couple of things that you need to avoid, such as using your full name, using your age, using your address, date of birth, and gender. And similarly, these are details about yourself that you should avoid using in your password, because someone who understands these tidbits of information about you will clearly know that chances are you've used the same information to share your password and to create the password on different platforms. So a strong password is a combination of phrases. It could even be a sentence, as long as you can remember it, symbols and numbers, and of course, a combination of upper and lowercase. Make sure that this is at least 8 characters in length. So an example is what we can see. Mary had a little lamb, where A is actually the @ sign, and then little is the exclamation mark. So these are some of the ways you could make sure that you have a strong password, and that's a very good example of the same. So keeping password safe, we have some password safety tips. Please don't write them down. Never share your passwords, change it when prompted, and use multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication is where you get a message, for example, on your phone via SMS to confirm that you're the one who's actually trying to log in. So they'll send you a code, and now you input the code on the platform you're trying to access. So we're now on online content, and I'd like to welcome Cynthia to take us through this section of the presentation. Over to you, Cynthia.
Thank you so much, B. That was quite insightful. As we all are aware, we use the internet for a lot of things. This could be to connect with friends, or to learn, or to do quite a lot of things. But then there are also many risks that come with us accessing online content. So ideally, I just have some tips that would help you stay safe while accessing. Could it be learning information, or maybe that just socializing with people online? Yeah. Just to mention but a few, you need to ensure you're only visiting secure sites. How do you know that a site is secure? I think Payne has mentioned that. Ensure that its header is HTTPS with a lock. Yeah, that's how you know it's a secure site, with a padlock on the URL. Yeah. And then you're not supposed to sign up on sites to access content and downloads. Ideally, access secure sites only, or sites that you trust. When you're trying to access something and you see a prompt you need to log in first, that should be a bit of a red flag. So you need to avoid such sites, yeah? And then do not believe everything on the internet. You need to do your research. And also, at times, some of these things, we need to have a bit of criticality when you're looking at content online. Day in, day out. Watch out for fake news. That's how you're going to know. Like, do not believe everything online, because some things can be fake. And I would encourage you not to get into a rabbit hole. Yeah, these days we have ads that are made specifically for us based on what we interact with online, and you can go into a rabbit hole. It is encouraged that you really check the amount of time you spend online, so that you manage your time wisely. Yeah. And when you download files off the internet, you need to make sure you're downloading them from a trusted site. Learn how to recognize scams, false advertising, bullying, and phishing. I think I'm going to show you how you can recognize maybe fake news after this. And also, if you're not sure about something, you're always encouraged to reach out to an adult, yeah, and consult. It is not wrong to ask, yeah, so that you can avoid interacting with the wrong things. So I think all of us might have interacted with fake news as you're browsing through the internet in one way or another. And how would you, like, one of the tips that I was mentioning on how to ensure that you're safe is fake news. You need to know how you can identify fake news. This can be information just on the internet, or at times we receive this information. Most of the time, parents share a lot of fake news on WhatsApp. No offense, but then, yeah, so these are things we need to look out for. So what do we need to, how can we tell that a story or or something online is fake. So you need to check the URL for all domain names. Yeah, we have trusted news sites. We know places like CNN. Locally, we have in Kenya, we have like the Standard, Nation. So you also need to check the URL for all domain names. And then if this news is not being reported by major news sites, then it's most likely not true. Yeah. And then fake news will have headlines in capital letters. This is to draw your attention. They need you to really fall for it, and also will include big numbers and words. And sometimes you realize that these fake news do not even have authors included. And in this instance, it might have an odd date or no date at all. Yeah, so no accountability on their end in any way. And the images that I use, you find are mostly photoshopped images. So you need to be on the lookout for such things as you're interacting with various items online. Yeah. So there's also like browsing bait when you're interacting with various websites online. Maybe I want to go to google.com, but then I find myself going to google.co, which is not the same thing. And if you're not so keen, you might actually fall for it. Yeah. So we need to be very keen when you're looking at the URL. It needs to be HTTPS, not HTTP with the padlock in it, to show that it's actually a secure browser, that we are a secure site that we are accessing. So alongside online content, aside from learning and whatnot, we also use social media. Yeah, that's where we get some of the other content that we interact with. Yeah. Social media is great. Ideally, I wouldn't encourage anyone who is underage or who has not reached the right age to actually access social media, because there are a lot of things that you cannot be protected from when you're not ready to access such sites. Yeah, but it is a great way to stay in touch with family and connect with friends. You can share your news, posts, photos, and whatnot. But then we have this thing we call a digital footprint. And most of the time, social media affects our digital footprint. Yeah. So just some tips to ensure that you stay safe when you're using social media would be ensure you use strong passwords. My colleague Payne has already told us how to ensure our passwords are strong. And you also need to ensure that every social media account you have has a different password. Don't use the same password for all accounts. You need to review your privacy settings, because at the end of the day, you're in control of who can see what, yeah, online. And when I say privacy settings, you also need to come down. It also boils down to what do you let people who are online see? What do you expose out there? What do you put out there when you're using these social media accounts? I would also encourage that you think twice before sharing too much information on social media. Yeah, at times you might think you might be hasty to post, but then afterwards you're like, why did I post that? Because once you post this thing we call a digital footprint, it's something that stays forever. Even if you come and delete, you're not really deleting it. It's still somewhere there in the internet. Yeah, someone can still find it. So think twice before you post. And then to emphasize on the privacy point, you also need to only accept requests from people you know, that is friends and family. Yeah, and always go back to your friend list and be like, are these people I really want within my space? Are these people who I want to interact with? Are these the right people who I want to, yeah, basically be my friends and followers? Because that's how you maintain your privacy. That is how you control who you interact with online and how they interact with you, basically. Yeah. You also need to protect people's privacy. Yeah. In that, do not post people without their consent. Do not post your friends or even family without their consent. And also, especially if it is embarrassing, yeah, would you want that to be done to you? Of course not. So don't do it to others. Yeah. Don't be a bully. Don't share hurtful messages and negative messages online. And remember to always keep your private information private. Yeah. Don't go on social media and start saying I stay in this area, or I am at school currently, or I am home alone. That is information that the not so nice people online can use to their advantage. Yeah. So this information would be your email address, your home address, your friend's address, the school you're going to. I would encourage you not to share such information online. Yeah. And in any situation where you feel like I might have done something, or this person is not communicating to me in the right way, you really need to reach out to an adult. Yeah, reach out for help. Do not stay quiet. Reach out for help. Another aspect that I would like to touch on is posting updates and data online. Yeah. So to emphasize on the do not post private information online. Ideally, you're not supposed to post information on where you live, where you go to school, places you visit, specific activities you're doing, or when you're home alone, because this will give someone a very clear picture of your day-to-day life, ideally. And that's not something we want, because you're encouraging someone to be in your business, which is quite dangerous in this day and age. Yeah. And as we are online, I feel like in one way or another, we might have interacted with very mean people online. We call them internet trolls. They just want to be mean. They just want you to get mad. They don't care whether they're right or wrong. They just like it when people get mad. Yeah. So when you interact with a troll, when you come across a troll, maybe in your comment section, yeah, we encourage you not to respond. You need to immediately block the troll's account, because you do not want to keep on seeing their messages. It might get really bad on you, and you might start feeling really bad if they keep on trolling you. Yeah, and then do not maybe screenshot and then post that someone is trolling you. That's not the right approach. But instead, just screenshot the interaction and maybe report it to maybe social media, because these days, if you report such posts or such comments, the accounts can be closed so that no one else can also be trolled or bullied, for lack of a better word. And if you receive, at times the abuse might be a bit threatening. Someone might say, why are you posting these things? I even know where you stay. I'm going to come for you. Yeah, that is something that you need to forward to the authorities immediately. And then, as I had already mentioned, you need to review your friends. Yeah, friend list, check your account settings, and ensure it's only friends who can access your content, your posts, and ensure that your account is on private. Yeah, so that you're no longer an easy target for such people. And remember to always share. Tell a parent, tell a teacher, so that they can provide support, especially if it has affected you psychologically. Yeah, you need to share. Aside from internet trolls, as children, you might come across people we call groomers. Yeah. A groomer is just an adult who might come across as a very trustworthy person, because that is the whole essence. They'll try to build trust, but in the end, take advantage of you in one way or another. How would you know that someone is a groomer? They usually ask to meet offline a lot. They really want you to share personal information about yourself. Yeah, they're usually like, oh, send me a photo of yourself today. What are you wearing today? Very personal information that I would think you'd feel in one way or another this is not normal, because when I'm interacting with my friends, they do not ask me for such information. Yeah, and they would always insist on keeping your contacts, yeah, the details about your contact very private. Don't tell your mother we are talking. Don't tell your parents. Do you have any siblings? Are they older than you? Don't tell them you know me, yeah? And they are always there. If you need them, they'll reply immediately, yeah? That is because they want to build that trust with you. So you need to ensure that when you encounter an online groomer, you need to ensure that you will never accept a request to meet them in person, yeah? Because this is someone you've not known in real life, you've never talked to in real life. You should never be comfortable meeting strangers in person. They might not be who they seem to be all along, yeah? And to avoid all this, if you encounter suspicious behavior, you need to report to an adult, yeah? So that action can be taken against the people, because it is not just you who is being affected, there are a lot of other children who are being affected by such things. And once you detect this suspicious behavior, you need to block contact with that person. Do not engage. And we encourage that you only engage with people you personally know and trust. That will be limited to friends and family. And also rely on your gut instincts. Trust your instincts. If it feels strange, it definitely is strange. Ensure to check your security settings, and also be very suspicious of anyone sending you frequent messages requesting for personal information. Where do you stay? Send me some photos. How old are you? And also, if anyone insists on keeping your conversations private, that is also something you need to be on the lookout for. I think that would be all from me, and I would like to welcome my colleague Noba to take us through Be a Friend, Not Be a Bully. Thank you so much.
Hi Cynthia, can you stop sharing your screen so that I can share mine?
No, but please,
Yes.
please just proceed. I'll just move the slides for you.
Okay. Hi everyone. So as Moses mentioned earlier, that a lot of students, a lot of people have come across cyberbullying online. So this is something that is not very new. It's something that affects all of us. And basically, cyberbullying is when someone threatens or insults you or spreads gossips about you on social media or in emails or text. So cyberbullying has quite a number of impacts to both the one that is being bullied and the one that is bullying. For example, when you bully someone, you make them go through some emotional, like psychological, and sometimes some physical breakdown. So it's not something nice to do to someone. And as a person that you are bullying another person, there are some consequences to you, and most likely there are legal consequences because, as you know, our countries have put on some regulations, some laws that guide on the safe usage of internet. For example, in Tanzania, we have a Cyber Act, where it it introduces a number of penalties regarding to cyberbullying. So such penalties range from fines and jail time. So cyberbullying is something that we should not encourage at any cost. So we always encourage you to be a friend and not a bully. So in case you are bullied online, let's say you are on Instagram, you have posted something and somebody is insulting you, or maybe someone has posted your pictures and then they are saying mean things about you. Like, what do you do? First of all, we say that don't respond, because as much as you respond, like what you are doing is basically adding the petrol to the fire. Like, they never stop. Like, you give them more power to keep on bullying you. And another thing you can do, you always tell a trusted adult. An adult can actually guide you, can tell you what to do, what not to do. Because a bit we know that grown people like have more wisdom than us most of the time. Yes. And you can always block the bully, because you don't need to keep seeing what they are posting. So if you see like someone is insulting you, just block them and have your peace. Another thing is that you make sure you always maintain your privacy online. Why? Because most of the times when somebody bullies you, it's because they have a lot of information about you, and most likely it's because like you are sharing a lot of things about your life, and at some point somebody will just feel like, okay, let me try and bullying this. So Keep your posting as minimum. Look at things that you are sharing. You don't need to share your location. For example, you can share a picture and then you share the home location. Somebody will actually come there and tell you, I actually know where you stay, so I can do something to you. Okay. Now let's look at what do you do when you see like someone is being bullied. First of all, you always provide support. Let's say it's your friend, it's someone. Be there for them. Give them a good advice. Tell them, hey, don't respond back to this, or if possible, just take your time offline. Be an upstander. Stand for your friend. If you see somebody is bullying you, another person, you can actually go there and actually tell, hey, don't do this, this is not nice. Yes. Another thing you can always do, you can report it. Where do you report? For example, in social medias, you can report to the social media platforms themselves, or you can just take the records, for example, screenshots, and then you can probably report to to the regulation, to the police, for example, and proper actions will be taken against the bull. And don't participate, as in don't keep bullying your friend. You see someone is being bullied, don't go there participating bullying that other person. It's not a good thing. Now let's talk about using your phone smartly and safely. Why? Because we understand that we have become a civilization that has grown so close to our mobile phones and our computer. So here we are going to give you some tips on how to use your phone smartly and safely. The very first thing that you can always do for your phone, for your computer, make sure that you have set a password, because once you set the password and that nobody knows your password, you actually keep a lot of people out of your phone, so they don't really see what's happening in your phone. Because we know nowadays we have a lot of things, a lot of personal things that are within our phone. So if you have your phone that is just laying around without password, you never know, somebody can get a hold of your phone and let's say they take your pictures and then they go and post them somewhere. There are a lot of things, so make sure that your phone has a password, and make sure you always get permission to download. For example, ask your parents, hey, I want to download this and this, and they can guide you. And on downloading, make sure that you are always downloading things from trusted sources. For example, if you're an Android user, there is a Google Play Store. Download the applications from Google Play Store. If it's for iOS, there is an App Store. Why are we emphasizing on this? It's because like these two stores, like they always verify what is being uploaded there. So you will never download an application with a virus from App Store or from Play Store. And when using your phone, only respond to numbers that you know. If you don't know somebody and somebody is contacting you, just ignore them. And be careful what you communicate, whether it's on social media, the messages that you are sending. These things have impact on you in one way or another. For example, we said there are regulations. So if you bully someone, it will just come to you in one way or another. And ask before you take and share. For example, you take a picture with your friend in it, and then you want to share that picture. Ask for them, hey, I want to share this. Make sure that they always give you a permission before you share, because sometimes you will be interfering with the other person's privacy, and that's not a good thing. And always be mindful when you are using your phone. Just be careful what the things that you are downloading, the things that you are sharing. Yeah, do everything that you are doing with an mindful heart, and keep your phone safe. Don't let your phone lying around. Just leave it somewhere. You make sure that your phone screen is always locked. And another thing, you keep your phone up to date. The software manufacturers always release updates for various reasons. One is just normal updates for, let's say, improving performance, and other updates are normally for security updates. For example, an application might have a vulnerability, and the app owner notices that, and they provide an update to fix that vulnerability. So if you get these updates, make sure you apply them as soon as possible to make sure that you are always using applications that are up to date, that keeps you away from a lot of security issues. And be careful with Bluetooth. And with Bluetooth, we always say that make sure if you are not using your phone Bluetooth, make sure it's turned off, because someone can connect, someone can try to compromise your phone through Bluetooth. And connect carefully. This is normally on Wi-Fi's. We don't advise you to connect on public Wi-Fi's, because you really don't know who is controlling that Wi-Fi router, what they can do with whatever that you are sending. Yeah, and if in case you are going to use a public Wi-Fi, make sure you have a VPN software that will help you encrypt your traffic, so that even if somebody tries to interfere with whatever that you are sending, they can't actually see what you are actually sending. And always, if you're at a point where you really don't know what to do, just ask for help. There are good people who will always help you. Most likely check with your parents, check with someone who is a bit older than you, and you will get help. I think this is the end of my section, and I welcome my colleague to pick up from the next slide. Thank you.
You, Norbert. That was quite insightful, and thank you everyone for the call for joining. We are going to look at online gaming, and I know since schools have closed now, most of us are going to be spending most of their time gaming. I personally love gaming myself. I know there are a couple of games we love to play, like Call of Duty, FIFA, Fortnite, and and some more. So, but today we just be giving you tips and creating awareness and what you need to watch out for when you're playing games online. So the first one, if you don't use personal usernames, gamer tags. So do not use your full name, your real name on these online platforms when you're playing games. It's advisable that you can just use a nickname, preferably if you have one, so that you keep your information private. Secondly, you'll get some people who will be messaging you, sending you sometimes weird messages. So don't answer messages from strangers. And I know this time when schools have closed, when you're at home, that's when there's a whole huge of traffic. So you'll get people will be online mostly because they know schools have closed and children will be online. So you have to be very careful when you're on that on the gaming platforms. So thirdly, you pay attention to the streaming sites. You might find there are some sites that may not be valid, meaning that they are not be true sites, which may be created just to fool you into getting into the sites where they can just direct you to steal your information. So just be aware of the site that you are streaming on the game. And we also check before you download. I know most of us have Wi-Fi at home, free internet. So before you download a game, just be wary. Check on the developer, just check on the game, just to be aware that you're downloading the right game, that you're not downloading something, either a virus that can destroy your phone with a virus or a worm. Yeah. So don't answer personal questions, such just to mention of grooming. So you'll get people who will be giving you giving you this type of questions that are just out of topic. So don't answer personal questions from strangers who you don't know. If you think it's too personal, you can just block the person and not engage with them. So you keep your information private. And watch out for links and pop-ups. I know most of us are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no X. So when you're browsing, you normally find there are links that pop up out of nowhere when you're scrolling, either on when you're doing online shopping. So you just find a pop-up that comes up. Similarly, for those ones that normally come up when you're watching YouTube videos, you just see a pop-up that comes up. And when you click on that pop-up, it takes you to another site, which might be malicious with the intention of stealing your information. So be very cautious also on the links and pop-ups that come up when you're playing games. Also be aware of cyberbullies. Enoch has touched on that. So don't respond to bullies, don't engage with them, and also report them to an adult. If somebody is pressuring you or just posting false information about you that you know it's not true, or just creating lies about you, So yeah, just to iterate what Norbert has said, don't engage, consult an adult, and yes, and be wary, do not respond to them. So we have an example of a pop-up spam. So a spam is normally messages that are sent to you that you did not subscribe to. You find that congratulations, like on the screen, you are a 1 million visit a week, which is not true. So when they tell you to click on a link, which takes you to another place where the intention is to steal your information. They'll tell you to enter some of your personal information and then it will be gone. So do not click. So similarly on the screen, we have an X button on the top right corner. So I know we've seen this on most of the sites that we are logged in. A pop-up screen comes up, but there's normally an X button. So that is what will, when you click on that, it deletes the pop-up, so you'll not be able to redirect you to the page. So always look for the X button whenever you see a pop-up. Yes. And pop-up blockers don't always block pop-up, so always close a pop-up window using the X button on the top right corner, and never click yes or accept or even cancel. So it's advisable just to click on the X button so that the pop-up disappears and you're not directed to anything. So we're looking at fake applications. I know most of us have WhatsApp. There's the modifications ones. We have WhatsApp GB, WhatsApp TM, but most of the apps, I know you've seen, once you install an application, it normally tells you to give permissions. So you check on the name, you check on the developer, you check on the reviews. So the reviews are normally what people are talking about it, on the date. Beware of the discounts, just to be aware that it's not a scam. Look at the screenshots and check on the number of downloads. You'll see that if an application is popular, it will have the most numbers of downloads. So just check on that so that you are aware that you're downloading the correct application. And also on the permissions. When you download an app, it normally requires you to give camera permissions, location. So be wary of the type of permissions you're giving out. If it's location, if the app really needs it, so you find some of the apps give out, they require too much permission from our phones, like contacts, messages, and which sometimes it's not, it doesn't really, it's not necessary for you to give out that type of information. So check on the permissions that you're giving out to the applications. So what do you do if you download a fake app? Please delete the app immediately, visit the App Store and reset your phone. And if you have an antivirus installed on your phone, please scan your phone. Next, we look at the cyber attacks. I know we've watched movies and you've seen cyber attacks happening. An example, you see somebody like on the screen, seated with a computer, he'll be hacking into maybe the electricity grid lines, maybe shut down the electricity, or maybe hack the computers or the systems where people are denied access. If you find their biometric door access, you are not able to enter. So spyware and adware. So when you're gaming online, there's normally these apps that you download, which they'll normally pop up and you download an app. So example, you have a spyware, which is an application that gets confidential information about another person's computer activities by secretly transferring data from the hard drive. So this can be either on your phone or your computer, which you won't know what the application is normally doing. So applications that automatically display or download unwanted advertising material when a user is online, adware. And I know we've interacted with this much, either when you're watching YouTube videos or you're on your Facebook or Instagram, then you just see a pop-up that comes up and downloads unwanted materials, either pictures, files, and videos, which you do not download. So be very wary of them, of spyware and adware. So we have ransomware and DDoS. So ransomware, I hope and I know most of us have heard of ransomware. So ransomware is a type of attack which you find hackers, they get access to your data and require for you to pay a certain amount of money before they publish your data. So that is like generally stealing your pictures and videos, blocking them that you're not able to access, then requesting you to pay a certain amount of money for them to be released back to you. So that is what you type of ransomware, where hackers get into your personal information and they require a certain amount of money. So the DDoS, this is a distributed denial of service attack. Example is where a service is limited from being used. Example, when you try to access a website and you are not able to. So meaning the attacker has limited the type of access you can get to the website. Denial of service, this is meaning limiting service to something that you are accustomed to or something you have access to. So it can be also access to biometrics, access to any type of computer connected device that you're limited access to. So this is a type of cyber attack. And how to detect an attack, we have unusual mysterious emails, message about your password being changed. This is similarly to those M-Pesa or Equity Bank messages you get. You hear your parents talking about that they've gotten a message where their accounts have been merged with another, or account has been, you've been locked out of your account mysteriously and you don't know, and suspicious or unusual pop-ups, and sometimes you get your devices more slower than usual. Yeah. And always check with your trusted adult or your parent or guardian if you think you're in trouble of, if you think your device is acting or gadget is acting suspiciously. So how do you recover from attack? Please change your passwords, notify your contacts or your parent, determine what has been lost, follow your antivirus recovery if you have one installed. If you do not have, please check with an adult so that you can install a trusted one. And also back up your files, which is important. So at least when you lose your data, you can also always recover the data. So how do you prevent cyber attacks? Use strong passwords, use a secure network for Wi-Fi. Always note, if you're giving something for free, so nothing is always for free. If it's for free, you are the price. So make sure the software is updated. Always update the software, enable antivirus, and be aware of unfamiliar apps in your phone. So be very wary of that also. So lastly, we have artificial intelligence. And an example, I know you've heard of Elon Musk. He's spearheading most of his projects going to Mars. And he also has the Tesla car, which is an example of an AI machine learning car, which it is self-driving. And we have robots, social media of chatbots. We have streaming platforms these days. I know you've read ChatGPT. We have virtual assistants, which you'll encounter with them and interact with them on e-commerce sites like Jumia, Amazon. We have the self-driving cars, Tesla, BMWs, and we have the health and diagnostic treatments like the smartwatches that we normally have our parents, video game pads and gamers. And we also have travel and navigation systems that we normally have on the cars that normally directs you to which location you want to go to. You just set the destination and the AI will do the rest of it. So these are the type of risks of using AI. We have bias and discrimination. We have phishing scams, data breaches. This is a leakage of information. We have misinformation, which is fake news, hallucinations. We have cyberbullying, which we've gone through. We have stalking, which is people who just follow your digital footprint on the social media, on the internet, just looking on what you're doing and just giving you unreliable information and just stalking you, just looking at what you're doing, maybe messaging just to see what you're doing, but they may not be either your friend or just a stranger. So, and also we have chatbots these days, you can chat them on the internet while you're browsing, and they'll give you instant feedback of what you require. So how do you use AI safely? I know we have ChatGPT, but be mindful of personal information. Do not share personal information. Understand the privacy settings on your account. Do not overshare information. Keep your private information private. And please think critically and be cautious with AI-generated messages. Like for ChatGPT, it really has more content and very interactive on that. If you've had a chance to interact with that, and also please stay informed of the system that you're using and just keep learning so that you're able to know how the system works. And we have a tip there. So consider the tip you've been given and write down some of the ways you can put your tips into practice. So just learn and just remember the tips to keep you safe while using this type of technology. So we have a recap of what we've learned today. So we have protect your online identity, secure login, online content, safe use of social media, cyberbullying, using your smartphone smartly, online gaming, cyber attacks, and AI. And I think that's it for me. Thank you. I'll invite Norbert, Enoch to take over. Thank you.
Thank you all for your participation so far. Now it's time for our question and answers. So if you have more questions, or if there is something you're curious about when it comes to staying safe online, go ahead and type your questions in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. Remember, there are no silly questions and we're here to make sure you have the information you need to be safe and responsible on the internet. So don't be shy. I can see that there are a few questions that has been shared on the chat board. So keep them coming and we will try our best to answer those questions. Starting with our first question on, the first question was on how do you recognize scams? Like my fellow colleagues has already shared, scams are just tricks they are just tricks people use to get money or personal information. And here's how you can spot them. Scams, they usually sound too amazing. They sound too amazing, like getting reward that you deep down in your heart, you know that you've not you didn't do anything to deserve that reward, and somebody is just offering you a reward just out of thin air. So beware of those. Also, the scammers can share messages that they seem to rush you, like hurry up, because scammers, they want you to decide first. So take your time and ask a grown-up for help. Therefore, be careful with messages or calls from people that you don't know, especially if they ask you your secrets. Scams are often they have what we call spelling mistakes. So read the messages. They usually don't have those spelling mistakes. So if you spot a spelling mistake, probably that's a scam. Also, don't tell anyone your special things like password or important numbers online or on the phone. Scammers, they like to use strange ways to get your money. So stick with what you know. And if you are shopping online, see if the website name is spelled right, because scammers make fake ones that look real. And if you are not sure, it's okay to ask a grown-up you trust for help, because they grown-up, they want to keep you safe. So you should always ask for a grown-up for help if you are not sure. Another question that was shared was on what if the unknown number is your friend? Because maybe you gave them your mobile number in order to contact you. Okay. Actually, this is a nice question. This is a good question. And if you receive a message or call from an unknown number, and you suspect that it might be a friend or someone you shared your phone number with, it's still good practice to be cautious initially. So here's what you can do to be cautious initially. First of all, you have to verify the identity. If you have any doubt about the caller's identity, you can send a message or call back and politely ask who they are. For example, you can say, "Hi, I don't recognize this number. Can you please let me know who you are?" Then ask for confirmation. If they are indeed your friend, they should be able to confirm their identity by sharing some information that only your friend would know, such as shared experience or personal detail. When you get this kind of call, just be mindful on sharing their information. Because although we know that it's great to reconnect with friends, if you're not 100% sure that this person is your friend, be mindful of sharing information. Another question was, I think this one touched on our presentation today on ransomware, and it is asking about what if you pay the amount of money and the pictures are published? Remember that engaging with extortionists and paying them is not a guarantee that they will stop their threats. So it's important to take immediate action, like talking to a trusted adult, such as a parent, a guardian, or a teacher about the situation, because these are the guardians. They can provide support and guidance. Another one. Another one was, is it safe to use an adapter when using public devices, for example, computers? I would like to welcome Payne to answer this. Payne, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Enoch. So the questions are streaming in. So this question was, is it safe to use an adapter when using public devices? So I'm not entirely sure if the attendee is asking if it is safe to use your adapter, say, at a restaurant, at a cafe, sometimes an airport. So this is a very interesting question, because one of the attacks we've encountered is there's a time people who are connecting their phones on USB outlets in some airport lounges. And unfortunately, those USB outlets were actually set up in such a way that information can be accessed on the devices that were being charged. So because, you know, attackers come up with so many different ways such as that, which you can't really think of, you could use a power bank, because with a power bank, there's no risk of getting an attack like that. But to answer this question, there is a risk of getting some sort of cyber attack when you use public outlet charging ports and charging adapters as well. So someone here asked, how do I know if you're being hacked? So this is something that we had shared one of the steps. Let me see if I can navigate. We also have Moses typing in the answer. So some of the obvious ways to know if you're being hacked is your device is operating much slower than it usually does. Another is your phone might start overheating, or your device might start overheating. It's losing battery much quicker. When it comes to online accounts, you've lost access to your account and you're not able to sign in anymore. On other occasions, you're getting messages about you having signed in. You know how, for example, Google can let you know that you tried accessing your account on this day. We detect a suspicious attempt. Is this really you? Those are some of the ways in which you can take note of an attempt of someone trying to hack into your account. So someone is asking about Roblox. Roblox is a very interesting game. I find it fun myself. Now, Roblox has two main cybersecurity considerations you have to make. The first is cyberbullying. On a lot of the servers within Roblox, you have people who say mean things and people who can try and make your experience online very frustrating. So be careful about the servers that you join on Roblox. Make a point of ensuring that you detect any signs of aggression. If someone is being aggressive, then you should make a point of even leaving that server to begin with. The second risk that we have seen with Roblox is that of online grooming. You have some adults who join different servers on Roblox who are actually trying to groom children. So same tips we've shared. Be on the lookout. See if they're trying to find out personal information from you. Are they asking you to share your pictures with them? Are they asking you where you live? Are they asking you very suggestive questions? Those are the things that you have to be on the lookout for. And don't keep this a secret. If you have any doubts about some of the experiences you've had on Roblox, as we've mentioned, please speak to your parent or a trusted adult about your experience. So these are very good questions. Thank you so much. Charles is asking, what role does the Communications Authority, I think this is the CCK in Kenya, play in protecting children from cyber insecurity? So what we know is that as part of an annual report, the CCK actually lets us know about some of the reports that they have received. This is in terms of incidents. And interesting enough, there had been a rise in the reported incidents around online grooming for children. So what they have is a hotline, and we're getting another detailed answer from Moses on what role they play in protecting children. So one of the ways we're aware of is that they have a report line that allows you to report an incident, which they can then investigate and follow up on. So let me see if there's any additional information on that. So Moses has let us know that they enforce regulations, and they also collaborate with law enforcement to make sure that child protection policies and strategies have been in place. They also remove and take care of any harmful material while promoting safer technologies. So someone is asking about false advertisements. How do you realize that it is false when downloading that app? So if the deal is too good, young Muthomi, you think twice. If someone is offering you a prize in exchange for downloading an app or accessing the app, then that's something that should give you some questions. If the app itself is actually fake, then one of the ways to detect, as we had gone over in our slides, is to check the developer. Who is the person who has released the game? They released the application. How many people have downloaded? Usually you'll find that the fake application will have much fewer downloads than the authentic application. Then the other thing is read the comments. So in the App Store, you'll always see people leaving comments on an application and what their experience has been. If most people are saying that the application gave them problems or this is a scam, please don't download this application. ABCD happened to me. Those are some of the things that you can be on the lookout for when you realize that it is fake. And of course, once you're certain, make a point of deleting that application. So Levi is asking what spyware and adware is. So Levi, spyware is any sort of information, any sort of software that tries to infect your computer so that someone can try and maintain surveillance on you. So this comes in various forms. Someone can try and have persistent access to your webcam. Someone can try to have persistent access using the microphone on your device so that they can listen to what it is that you're doing. Adware, on the other hand, is simply trying to serve you so many ads This can come in the form of the ads you get on a website. This can come in the form of ads you get while playing a game. So it's very important for you to distinguish between the two. So as a general rule, please scan your devices with antivirus software to detect if you have any spyware downloaded on your phone, and make sure you check the permissions that you've granted to the different applications on your devices. If an application is asking for access to your microphone, for example, is asking for persistent access to your front-facing camera and back camera, if you check on the activity monitor, you notice that it's taking up a lot of memory. Those are some of the ways to understand that spyware has actually infected your device. So we have, and what if someone has already sent something false about you, and when you try to block them, it doesn't work? That's a very good question. So here we usually like to, I know there's this thing about not being a snitch and not telling on someone who is actually being harmful. But what we recommend is, usually the person trying to say something false about you is someone that you know. This could be someone who you go to school with, or this is a neighbor, or simply a friend. Now, because most of these people are peer groups, you'll find that they have their own guardians, they have their own parents, they have adults they live with. And if you go to school together, then you share the same teachers. So as we mentioned, make a point of taking a screenshot of whatever content or whatever harmful message that they have said about you. If the blocking hasn't worked, then make a point of sharing that with your parent. Make a point of asking the parent to help you take care of it. And more often than not, they will make a point of following up with the teachers in school. And the teachers will then make some action, whether it be to reprimand that student or to even inform the parents and guardians of the fellow child who is actually saying something false about you. So this is actually very tough, because with cyberbullying, we understand that it can happen at any time. But please, no matter how difficult it is, don't be afraid to tell on the person who is giving you problems online. So we have some more questions on personal information. Maybe Enoch, you could take this one, as well as someone asking about child trafficking. So these are very important questions. So before I hand it back to you, Enoch, Micah is talking about you cannot say anything bad on Roblox because they put a censor to cover up bad words. So while that is true, the problem is if you are actually communicating on some of those servers that you set up. So part of the challenge for a lot of these game manufacturers is that they do not necessarily have a way of controlling what people say when they're in the lobby or what people say when they're actually in the game. Sometimes people will get blocked. Sometimes you can report someone and they'll be removed from that session, or they can be banned. But, you know, that only goes so far. So those are some of the things that you can keep in mind. So generally, just avoid getting onto some of these sessions with strangers and adults who you do not know about.
Oh, thank you, Payne. Okay. Another question from Micah was on what if they are asking for your age and personal info, and it is on popular and trusted website? But I can see
I
that
think I can take that one, Enoch. Okay. So, what if they're asking for your age and personal information, and it is on a popular and trusted website? So, generally, we advise that you don't share your personal information, even if it's a popular and a trusted website. And however, you can also make a check, like they normally tell you like why we are collecting this sort of information. So basically just read why do they need your age, why do they need your location. But if you see like it's really not for a very necessary cause, you can just ignore that. Yeah, so do as much as you can not to share your personal information, even if it's a trusted website. Another question is how can one regain a hacked account on Instagram? I think Instagram have a set of steps that you can always follow. That is on their platform. You can always check that one. Yeah. Anonymous is asking, where do we put our password for safety? So normally it's advised that normally keep your password on your head, like you make sure you always remember your password. But however, we're interacting with a lot of sites, so it's not really possible for someone to remember like all the passwords. The best option is to use a password manager. For example, Google has one. You can use that one. So what password manager does, it basically stores your passwords there, and then it will require your password, your actual password for that password manager to access what is within the manager. So you can always use a password manager.
Payne,
Okay.
I can see Payne trying to tackle on how can one regain a hacked account on Instagram.
So
Payne?
Instagram has a support center where you could report instances of hacked accounts, but sometimes the accounts may have gone too far, where someone has gained access, changed your password, and maybe even changed the username associated with that account. So the best thing you can do is to report that your account has been stolen. And once you do that, Instagram conducts some sort of investigation. You can even, they'll ask you to even send a picture of yourself, maybe holding a certain code, to confirm that you are actually the owner of that account. Sometimes you will get your account back. Other times, Instagram support will not deliver your account. But what they can do is that they can end up closing that account. So it's 50-50. But the best thing to do is if your account has been hacked and you cannot access it in any way, please report it so that the account can be taken down. Norbert?
There is another question here from Young Muthomi. What can you do after connecting at a public Wi-Fi? And if they hack you, how can you prevent that? So we said earlier that the best practices for using public Wi-Fi is to always use a VPN for that. Because like VPN tries to hide your identity, they can't really see the actual websites or platform that you are trying to interact with. And if you always detect like something is really not going well with your phone as you are using the public Wi-Fi, you make sure that you disconnect immediately. And if like they have taken total control of your phone that you can't really do anything, you can always just reset your phone. And we always advise that you normally take a backup of your phone. So even if at some point you are required to like wipe your phone, then you can always go to the backups once you go through the reinstallation process. There is another question from Anonymous. He's saying, is it true that apps make their terms and conditions so long that you do not read them? And no, that is not true. The terms and conditions are normally long because like there are a lot of clauses there. There are a lot of things that you are actually supposed to read. The goal is not just to make you not read them. So I always read the term and conditions, because by not reading, you really don't understand what you are agreeing to. So sometimes, like you find that in the terms and conditions, they tell you that we'll be collecting information about your location, information, let's say about your age, and you didn't really read the terms and condition, and you just accepted everything that was there. So it's not true, but make sure that you always read the terms and conditions. There is another questions from Levi Karanja. Do all games have internet? I hope you mean that like do all games require internet? There are games that require internet for you to play, and there are others that you can just play offline. And from Kenneth Kithinji, what if a person who cyberbullied you and he or she shares the same name with you and you report to the media? Will the media be able to differentiate you and the bully? Yes, no two accounts in the social media are exactly the same. So if you report the account, there is a way that they can always identify that other account and differentiate it from you. For example, you won't have the same username, yes, and you most likely won't use the same email. So there is a way to identify the two accounts that are using maybe the same name. From Rebecca Adhiambo, how will you know if there is a pop-up? You always see a pop-up. For example, when you are using your phone, something just pops up, and sometimes you are using a browser. So pop-up is just normally just comes on top of your screen. There is a question: is Roblox safe? I think Payne can answer on this since I think he plays Roblox. Payne, you're welcome.
So Roblox is safe. I think the point is, and someone else is asking about Minecraft as well. The risks are just the same. The risks of cyberbullying are there. The risks of getting exposed to someone who is going to talk to you badly while you're in the lobby, or someone who is going to try and incite some sort of aggressive response from you is the same. So they are safe, but we're also saying that by playing these games, there are certain risks associated with people who do not have good intentions. So I will say that it is safe if you make a point of keeping the cybersecurity considerations and protection tips that we have shared. So thank you, Norbert.
Levi is asking on phones have password. So why use another password? We are using another password just to like extra measures, because if you just have a phone password, only phone password, and a person gets access to that single password that you are using as a phone password, that person can have access to your other sensitive files. It's like you are handling that person keys to the kingdom. So it's just as extra measure to have. It's not necessary to have multiple passwords, but then we have different passwords just like an extra measure to be more secure. Somebody wants to date. Is asking, Kenneth is asking, is there anything like online dating?
That's a funny question. No, but that's a funny question,
Yeah,
but very
let me
important.
start then.
So, no, but I think you could.
I'll start then.
We could respond to that question as well as the last one on is it safe to watch movies, and then we could end it there.
Okay, yes, Kenneth, there is something called online dating. There are platforms that are used for that, but that's not something that we advise for people to use, especially students like you, because normally people meet other people and then they actually they meet online, and sometimes they will want to meet on real life. Now, that's not really a safe thing to do, because you never know who you are meeting. You have just met someone online, you don't know their background, you don't know what they do. So yes, there is something like called online dating, but it's not a safe place. There was another question. I think it's not here now. It was saying like, is it safe to watch movies online on the free sites? It is not really safe. It's not really safe. You could always use sources that are really trustworthy. You could use something like YouTube. That's okay. But a lot of platforms that we have come across for watching movies, you normally find a lot of redirects on their websites. Like you visit the website and then there is a link. They tell you maybe to click, and when you click that, it takes you to another page. So normally they somehow collect information about you. They make you visit other websites, and normally they also have a lot of pop-ups. So it's not really nice to use these platforms, but there are platforms that that are trusted. So always stick to things that are trusted. That is it. Payne, you're welcome.
Thank you all for joining us today in our cyber security awareness trend. We have covered a lot of important information to help you stay safe and secure in the digital world. Remember that knowledge is your best defense. So as you go forth, keep these key points in mind, like continue to educate yourself about cybersecurity, because the more you know, the safer you will be. And always be cautious when you are online. If something feels off, take a step back and think about it. Then guard your secrets like passwords and private details, and never share them with anyone that you don't trust. Not only protect yourself, but also look out for your friends. If someone is being mean online, stand up for them. And if you ever come across something that doesn't seem right, report it to a grown-up or a trusted authority. So, Payne, over to you.
So thank you so much. We have enjoyed having this session. And now that we would want to close, we just ask you to keep these things in mind so that we can stay safe as much as we possibly can. We look forward to meeting you on the next session. Thank you so much for making time, and enjoy your weekends. Thank you.